Right, you tell me, what is the worst thing about using a pressure washer? I think it's twofold. It's the fact that that's what, 4 or 5 meters long. Can that get around the car? No, of course it can't. Then you have to start taking it for a walk, like exactly that. Then not only have you got that bit to deal with, you've got this bit to deal with, which is always going to be 4 meters long. Shit. Then you've got to make sure your hose actually fits it. It's just a big pain in the ass. So what if there was something better? Now, what if there was a hose reel that connects to the wall, that's always plumbed in, it's always connected to the power, and all you got to do is turn it on and pull it out like a normal hose reel. Now, what if that hose was 65 foot long instead of, what, 8 foot, 10 foot? It's got to be better, isn't it? Literally, every time you need it, just pull it all out, use it, pull it back in, the gun sits on the side, and then when you're done, it all goes back in, all packs up nicely. Giraffe Tools. Right, unboxing, fitting, review. Not a clue. Spray foam lance thingy. That's going to be inlet hose. That's going to be your standard hose lock type fitting by the look of it. That's going to go into the unit. Fixings, level, and a foam cannon connection by the look of it. I imagine that's probably a bit that goes on the side of the unit so you can store the wand. Extension lance thingy. See, professional unboxing here, right? Yeah, just an extension. Main unit. I'm going to need both hands for this. I'll tell you now, this is not paid promotion. I have to buy all my shit. I'm getting nothing for free. Alright, nothing else left in there. Box polystyrene. Instructions don't need them. Drilling template for installing it on the wall. Okay, in the back of this we've got the container for the soap, it says, isn't it? That goes in there like that. That'll go onto this. That way. Yeah, you've got your foam cannon. Metal fittings, which is nice. Lance is plastic, but seems fairly rigid. That will go onto that. That'll be for spraying stuff down. Instruction manual says here, do not use this appliance without reading this instruction manual. Whatevs. How can it possibly be? Right, this is another selling point. Get a free bit of cardboard. No. Obviously bolt straight to the wall, and you can angle it any way you like, so it can be sort of tucked away. It's a fairly massive unit, but we've got a stopper there so it doesn't all piss off inside the reel. That'll go into the bottom of the gun. How often can I say gun and get away with it? Obviously power cable, which is actually a bit excessive, to be honest. So all we need to do, connect it to the wall, plug it in, run a hose to it, and then that's it, I'm guessing. I've got a hose that will reach most of the way around my garden, so I could put this pretty much anywhere. If I put this where there's already an outside socket, this will be done in like 10 minutes. Yep, on, off. Weight, I reckon 5 kilos. Little straightener, excessive fixings, and catheter for some reason. We'll get back to that. Okay, right, what is the opposite of safety musts? Yeah, that's pretty shonky for English in the first place. But the opposite, apparently, of safety musts is safety must knows. Okay, the catheter goes into the bottom of the foam cannon spray lance. So pick up all of the soapy goodness, I suppose. That's a little bit too long in there, but that's fine. And you adjust the amount of snow that comes out the end with that, which feels a bit shady to me. Okay, the inlet hose. This thing out. Screws into that and is about 2 meters long. Power cable comes out the same place, is 4 meters long. So you're more limited as to where you can get the water from, and it is just a standard hose lock fitting, which I give you, even though you've probably got one. Now that does limit me slightly, because the only outside tap I've got is here, obviously already with hose lock fitting. Now there's no power here. There is obviously power inside the house. So what you don't want to do is run the power cable through the wall. If you're a caveman, you could cut the plug off, drill a hole through the wall, pass it through the wall, reattach a different plug, this one's moulded on, and then plug it in. Now the issue is, in the instructions it says, if you've got any chance of freezing, you need to take this off the wall and put it indoors. Now that's not too bad, because it's got keyhole fittings, so you can just lift off the fixings, that's easy enough. Obviously you can disconnect it from the tap, that's very easy. So all you've got left is the power cable. Now what I thought about doing was just get a weatherproof out-the-door switch socket. Have that on the outside, run a bit of cable from that, put a plug on the inside. So now I've actually got an outdoor plug down there. I can plug it in, there's some focus, you piece of shit. I'll be able to plug it in one of the kitchen sockets. The other option, I've got external sockets here, but clearly there's no water. So I could very easily put it on this wall here, then I would have to run a hose pipe into the unit and use an adapter. Well, I've had to think about it, and I think if I put it on the side of the house, the girlfriend's probably going to complain about it, because it's going to look a bit messy. She didn't really like the air conditioner, but I think she got used to it now. I don't really want to make it any worse. So what I'll probably do is I'll just buy a hose that goes from there, runs down to that corner, which is that corner there, run it past all these bits of car, and then up into the unit, which will sit there, and it's nice and easy to plug in. And when I'm not using it, I can just disconnect the hose from around the other side, just curl it up and hide it around the side there. And because it's hidden away here, it's going to look a lot less messy. $12mm. Right, these aren't the best, drilled in far enough for those, but for some reason the bolts they give you are much longer. Now the plate you're going through is probably 2-3mm thick, so bear in mind that it's going to poke out at the end by another 15mm. 13mm. Now you want to make sure that they're sitting away from the wall slightly. You need to be able to get the keyholes on the back of the plate over and drop down. See, the problem with the fixings they've given you, because the bolts are longer, you have to drill a deeper hole. Because you drill a deeper hole, the actual raw plugs or the wall anchors go further in. Not ideal. If you've got a friend, like an actual friend, get them to help, because lining up all four of those and sliding it down, pain. What I eventually had to do was undo them very slightly, put it down, and then tighten it back up again. And then when you want to swivel it round, pull it up. So we store it out of the way. If you want to use it, you can pull it out. And it's got 1, 2, 3. It's got 5 positions. Right, 2 holes on the side. Match up with these 2 legs. They're supposed to go on there. And push down into place. Lovely. But this is supposed to go in it. Now the angle that it shows is like this. Now that, yes, it holds it, but it's not particularly good. It sort of stretches out. The main issue there is that is supposed to be on there like that. That does not go through there. Don't know if you can see, but that is twice the width of that. So to get it in there, now if you consider that this was like that and you're having to work over the top of it, you have a problem seeing, So you got to actually push it through there to store it, which I think is a bit shit. The other thing that's a bit shit is this is supposed to store in there as well. It's a bit crap. It falls out. Now, if they'd made that bit longer, then you can still get it in from the top. Now you put that away. And you can use it like that. Now, normally, if you were using this, that's fine. That would be out of the way. Now imagine if you wanted to store this, like sideways. With that in the way, it doesn't. And so the only way you can store it is that direction, which looks absolute shit. So it just seems like it's a bit of a bad design choice all round. So nice ideas, but poorly executed. Even when it's stored away like that, that isn't going to go in there. It's just crap, to be honest. I'll probably end up creating some sort of hanger or something that goes there. So Giraffe Tools could do better. Let's hope it actually works better than it has been designed. So all I've got to do now, screw that into there, and then get myself a hose pipe and run it round to the actual tap. Okay, store that over the top, so much easier than that crap inside. That sits in there, that's fine. Stuck a zip tie around that. I'm hitting up the cable so it doesn't trail on the floor. Less likely for mice to chew it. It goes around there. Right, hose connected. Runs all the way there. Runs all the way from across there, down there to that. Connected to a male-to-male adapter up into that. Now it's not turned on yet, but just pull gear out of it, make sure. So obviously there's 60 feet of water to go through that. Okay, so there we are. I think that's going to be long enough, considering I can probably clean the neighbour's car if I wanted to. What you got to be careful of is try not to stand or damage the high pressure hose. Let's get it to come back in again. It's just like a standard hose reel where you pull it. Nozzle don't get stuck. Yeah, that's exactly how I'm going to store it. Just hung over the top like that. Obviously that's the on and off, won't turn on because there's no water in it. Right, let's watch the video. I'm not going to record it that way around because it's just wrong.
I can't resist sharing the products that make my life so much easier. This.
You don't get that. You don't get that.
180-degree rotating hose system is not only super sleek, but also incredibly practical. With its 65-50
You don't get any of this lance, don't get any of these heads.
hose and 4 different nozzles.
Yeah, four different nozzles that you don't actually get. So lies.
It's been my go-to for everything from watering the garden.
Look at this lovely foam spray head. Metal. Yeah, you don't get that either. You get a shitty plastic one.
Washing the car. The breezy retraction feature makes it self-retracting, and the stop anywhere lock lets me customize the hose length exactly how I need it. It's such a time saver and makes every task so much more enjoyable. One of my favorite features? The total stop system. It's energy efficient and so smart. If you're looking for a stylish and functional solution, this is it.
Right, so that's absolute nonsense. Now if we look up here, Giraffe Tools mentioned you in a comment, and it takes you to this particular video. So let's look at the comments. Let's go to all the comments. Oh, that is all the comments. That's because they delete comments. There was a guy on there asking if anyone had actually tried it, if it was any good. And I put one on there saying I'm doing a review at the moment, I'm going to put it on YouTube. But they're liars because they don't actually supply any of this stuff. And yeah, comments been vanished. So in an attempt to actually get what I thought I was going to get, I decided to buy the nozzles and spray it on its own. Now this is the original lance. That is not a connector I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to copy the Karcher connector, but it doesn't. Now this one is very similar, obviously a bit too long, so I'm hoping that cutting that off there will make it the same. If not, I'm going to have to trim these ears down a bit. Right, I've looked into the lance. Those little pegs are actually quite narrow. Even those much wider pegs will go in there. So I'm going to cut off that little bit there and see how we go from there. There you go, trim that down. What I'm going to do now is it touches very slightly on the outside, so I'm going to take the edges of these down very slightly, I think. Okay, I've shaved it down very slightly around there because it was very slightly clipping on the inside of that. And what I'm going to do now is, if you line those O-rings up, you can see that the actual tab starts in the right place but finishes a bit late. I'm going to cut that tab down a little bit, I think. Right, this is what I ended up doing. Took about 3mm off each side. Took off those, took that down slightly, chamfered it slightly. It's all brass, so it don't take long to do that. I had to cut that out, took about 30 seconds. What you've got to make sure is, don't damage that O-ring. Let's see if it fits. Man, that was tight. Lucky enough there's a little hex there, so if you really wanted to, you can use that to twist it, but I think a bit more shaving of that connector would make it fit a little less snugly, but that fits, that works. Instead of messing around having to make your own lance, could you just replace the entire gun with a proper connector that takes everything you need? Well, yeah. There you go, if you just release the pressure. That's, oh God. It's the quick connect. So we'll get a bit closer for it. Yeah, it's a fairly standard quick connect. So you could actually replace the gun if you really wanted to. But of course I found it around and did it the hard way. As is my way. Actually, I'm fairly surprised. With it all the way closed. Not bad. But when you open it up, it gives a very direct. But obviously, you don't really want to be cleaning the floor with the head of a fucking needle, do you? I wouldn't say the unit was any louder than any Karcher I've owned, so that's not bad. Give it a little go. It's worth noting that you have to run it for a while just to get the air out of it, otherwise it starts panicking. I'm going to be testing some Power Maxed Super Concentrate Snow Foam, which looks very, very generic to me. But then also Hydro Snow by hydrouk.co. I vaguely remember buying a load of shit from them. But as a person who doesn't really ever clean their car, I don't know why I did. I think it's probably an offer that is too good to miss. One of those things where you save money by buying it and you lose money if you don't buy it. So we'll throw some of that one in this cheap ass piece of shit and give it a little go, see how it works. There you go, Spock's urine. Start on the minus and slowly stop increasing it to plus to see how much foam comes out, just to adjust it to suit, I suppose. Now the idea of snow foam is it clings to the body, softens up all the dirt. You just leave it on there to do its stuff, and once it's softened and loose and everything, you jet wash it off. So we're back in a bit. I had that pretty much on maximum. It used, well, I'd say 3/4 of that to do a big car like this. The The actual snow foam lance isn't that bad. It has its moments where it fires out fairly good snow, but then I think it loses pressure slightly because the massive hose I've had to run to it. And once it's soaked in, get yourself a mitt of some sort, just work it in, just to agitate the fluid and the dirt. And once you've just gone over the entire car quickly, just, give it a little rinse and regularly spray your mitt because you don't want to drag all that crap around the entire bodywork. Well, I've left it on for about 5 minutes. Got my new modified wand with a 25. You can obviously angle these whichever way you want. And now we just need to spray this crap off. Now it's worth starting from the top and working down, obviously, because that's the way the crap's going to be running. Well, it's looking a hell of a lot better. This is the dirtiest one by far. It's done quite a good job, but there are obviously areas where it's stained right in, so you probably have to give it a proper rub. Maybe use some iron remover, that sort of stuff. But for a quick job, it's all right. Yeah, once you've done all this, you are supposed to dry it. Of course, because I've just washed the car, it's going to start raining, so there's no point in drying it. So is the Giraffe Tools G20 power washer the most powerful pressure washer in the world? No, of course it's not. Do you need the most powerful pressure washer in the world to clean a car? No, of course you don't. It's perfectly good. For the money, it's not that much more expensive than one you have to drag around behind you and makes a loud noise. At least with this one, you can be 60 feet away. You know, it's not as loud then. Could it be better? Yeah. Instead of having this hose and this unusual threaded connector here, if they'd have given us a male hose connector, like hose lock type, so you can literally connect your hose straight to it, that'd be a lot better. Am I already seeing rust after a week? Yeah, there's a little bit there, a little bit down on the bottom of this. Would it be better if they gave us the tools that they actually showed in the commercial? Yes. But do I recommend it? Yeah. Yeah, I might actually start cleaning my cars instead of what I normally do and not clean my cars. Links in the description. They're all affiliate links. So I might make like 3 or 4 pence out of everyone that gets sold. If you want one, get one.